Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera show. You know, fall is one of my favorite times of year and we're going to do fall favorites today, making some of my best from our 3 cookbooks. We're going to start with macaroni and cheese. This is from book 1, Recipes from My Table. It's cheesy, creamy, it is so delicious. Then we'll move into 3C calzones. This recipe will be in the 3rd book that's coming out in May. It's a children's cookbook. This is really a great recipe. And then finally, spicy oatmeal raisin bars from book 2, Occasions. So we've got a lot to do. I'm going to get my apron on and get in the kitchen. All right, so macaroni and cheese is probably one of the most popular recipes that's in book 1, Recipes from My Table. And so I really am excited to share it with you. So there's a couple of things that you have to do in advance, and one of them is cooking the elbow macaroni. So whenever you're putting that into a casserole that's going to go in the oven, air on the lower side of that cook time so that it doesn't get overcooked when it goes in the oven. All right, so now we are going to add to this macaroni the sharp cheddar cheese, and I've got my box grater sitting out because I wanted, you know, I say all the time, we always hand grate our cheese, and that's what we use to do it. All right, so then I've got my Havarti cheese, and then my Monterey Jack. So like I said earlier, this is 4 cheese macaroni and cheese. So you can't have creamy macaroni and cheese without Velveeta. So that's the last of the cheeses that's going in, and we cut it into cubes so it'll melt a little bit faster. All right, now I'm gonna add in my softened butter to this. And our recipes are always on our website at VeryVera.com. All right, so let me stir this about for just a second before I add my cream. And this bakes into like a 9 by 13 casserole dish. So for Thanksgiving or anytime you're having the whole family over, maybe you're picking up fried chicken, this is the perfect dish to go with that. All right, so now I'm gonna add in my heavy cream. And this is one of the ones that you can get your young person in the kitchen with you if they're getting excited about learning how to cook. All right, so now I've got an egg in my Pyrex cup and a little bit of salt and pepper, and I'm just gonna beat that to go in there. And the macaroni is cooled down enough that this isn't gonna cook the egg. And I've already greased my casserole dish. And you know, think about when you're doing this sort of thing, what you're displaying, and maybe choose a container or a casserole dish that kind of goes with what you're doing, especially if it's on a buffet. And our presentation today at the end of the show is absolutely amazing. So this is just the perfect fit for this. All right, now I'm gonna top it with some more grated cheddar. And then panko breadcrumbs are just perfect because they stay crispy even when they're on top of macaroni. So this is gonna really bake up to a golden brown because we're gonna add a little bit of melted butter to the top. All right, so this is going into a 325-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. And when we come back from the break, we're gonna get started on the 3C calzone that's gonna be in the new cookbook. So come back with me. Welcome back, everybody, and oh my goodness, that macaroni and cheese smells so good, just bubbling in the oven. I just cannot wait for you all to try that recipe. All right, so this is a recipe that will be in the next book that comes out. This is the trilogy. I'm so excited about it. The first book that macaroni and cheese was in was everything that we did in mail order in our company. And then the second book, which the next recipe will be, was everything we've done in catering. This book is what we've been doing for over 22 years with our children during camp, but we've added some additional recipes that we feel like some of the older children will enjoy, like making for their family and that sort of thing. All right, so this is the 3C calzone that's going to be in the book. So what is the 3 C's? What does that stand for? It stands for cheesy, chipotle, and chicken. So this is just a really fun recipe for the children to make, and it's a really good snack for after school, or even if you're just having supper and watching football. All right, so what we've done is I go to the refrigerated section of the grocery store and get the Pillsbury pizza crust dough. So that's what I've done. I've opened up that. Now I'm going to put some flour on my board because we're going to get 8 rectangles out of this. And keep it cold until you're ready to use it. It just makes it work a little bit better. So now I'm going to add a little bit more on the top here. And what we're going to do is make this just a little bit thinner with the rolling pin. And even getting the children involved in using a rolling pin and taking their time and paying attention to what they're doing is also important. So some of the steps in this book, the recipes all of you will enjoy making. But what we've done is take a little bit of extra time in discussing the steps on recipes so they understand it. All right, so now I'm going to take and go straight down the middle. In the middle there. Same thing here. So you're getting 8 rectangles. All right, so now the filling, which is so good. All right, so this is when rotisserie chicken really comes in handy because I'm using the white meat of the chicken, and we just, pulled it apart with a fork. But I love the dark meat, so if I did that, then I'm gonna eat the thigh and the leg for dinner. So that's just, finely shredded in the bowl. So this is the chipotle ranch dressing that's going to go inside. So let me tell you what we did to make this. It was made in the blender. All right, so you start with ranch dressing, Duke's mayonnaise, a pepper from a 7-ounce can of chipotle peppers, and adobo sauce. Then white vinegar, granulated sugar, onion powder, and garlic powder. So it's got a little bit of a kick to it, but honestly, the children love it. All right, so I'm gonna add that to the chicken. Then crispy bacon. Can't help but love that too. And then we've got mozzarella cheese, and we're just gonna stir this together. So here again, this is so full of meat. You could actually make these bigger and make a whole meal out of it. All right, so let's get started with the first one. So we're gonna do about a tablespoon of this mixture. And we go to one end of it. Heaping. All right, so now I'm gonna pull this over to cover all of that up and just smush it in. And now this is the fun part. We get to crimp the edges to hold it in with a fork. And these are the little steps that we are really excited about sharing with the children is, why it's important, to press this down really well, and how this, you can do this with a pie crust too. So we'll put this over on the pan. Let's do another one. Oh, that was so good. These are really fun to make and delicious to eat. All right, and then the last step is I've got a egg that we're gonna brush the top and then put some more cheese on top. And then these will go into the oven and bake. So let's brush this real quick with the egg and put some cheese. pastry brush, all these little steps. I mean, you could have, I mean, I've got 5 grandchildren under the age of 12, so I could probably give each one of them a job when we get ready to do this recipe. All right, so a little cheese on top, and when we come back from the break, how about a spicy oatmeal raisin bar? Does that sound good? Great for fall. Come back with me in just a few minutes. All right, so the weather is perfect. We're right in the middle of fall. The kitchen won't get too hot when you make all these recipes, so I really hope that you will try some of these. This time of year, the aromas, the taste, the crunchiness, all of the things that make fall just so much fun for food. And for our family, you know, we're all enjoying football. There's just a lot of easy suppers that we're doing because we might be watching football Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So this is one of those recipes that will be really handy to make. It freezes really well, and so if you're getting ready to go somewhere to watch the game, you'll have something great to take. All right, so these are the spicy oatmeal raisin bars. I've got my light brown sugar in the mixer. I'm gonna add my granulated sugar, and I've got 2 sticks of butter. And it's at room temperature, just look at that. You know, and this is where the chemistry at baking comes in, because it's gonna blend much better if you have let your ingredients come to room temperature. All right, so we'll put this on like a medium speed. And that's gonna go around for about 2 to 3 minutes. All right, that looks just about right. So I'm gonna scrape the sides of the bowl. It's just a really pretty creamy color. All right, so now let's add in 2 eggs. We'll do that one at a time. And this is my little trick, my Pyrex measuring cup. You know, when I decided to major in home economics at the University of Georgia, I thought I was choosing the easy way out and I'd get to eat food the whole time I was there. I had no idea I had to take chemistry. And now, because I love baking so much, now I know why I had to take chemistry. All right, so I've got vanilla extract. I'm gonna add that in. And these are just the old-fashioned oats. So I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit. Add those in. And then my flour. You know, and we love to suggest, and even in this children's cookbook that we're doing, we suggest that you get all of your ingredients measured before you get started. So you're not stopping and, you know, doing the next thing. Okay, so now we've got baking soda. And this is why it's called spicy. We have cinnamon, salt, ginger. You know, honestly, I beat Bobby Flay on Throwdown with Bobby Flay with my carrot cake, and he put ginger in his cake, and I beat him. That's one of my favorite stories. Okay, so now coconut. And you know, if some of these ingredients do not suit your family, you could certainly leave the coconut out if you wanted to. It wouldn't affect anything. I really love it in this recipe. So let me scrape the sides one more time. All right, so now I'm gonna add in my raisins. Whoop. I'm gonna add them in and throw them all over the counter. So now I'm gonna fold the rest of these ingredients in just so they stay together. So let me get this off. And I've got my Pearson Farm Elliott pecans that we've chopped. And you know, there's something about using ingredients from folks that you know, the farmers that you know that grow these things, and that's the way we feel about the Pearson family, and we love to use their products. We use their peaches too. So there's the pecans, and now I've got chocolate chips. So this is like the more sophisticated older sister of an oatmeal cookie. So it's, you know, if you love those flavors of the cookie, I think you're really gonna love this recipe. And this is the pan that I recommend in all of my cookbooks that has just the right edge, and all of our bars, whether it's in the first book, the second book, or the third book, will tell you to use this size pan, and that this amount of batter fits in it perfectly. All right, so I'm gonna get this spread in the pan. It's gonna go in the oven. And then I'm gonna get this apron off and get in the backyard, because I'm gonna set the most amazing fall event landscape in my backyard to show you with all of my goodies from Replacements Limited. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and did I promise you a beautiful setting in my backyard? And the weather is cooperating. It's just a beautiful fall day here in Augusta, Georgia. All right, so we're gonna walk back through what we did today, and we're gonna do it by course. So this is the 3C calzone. Look how beautiful it plated. The sauce, we put some more on the side. It looks really great. You can see from when I put the butter on top and the cheese, it got really nice and golden brown. So I just love the way that looks. So it looks as good as it looks, but it looks even better because Replacements Limited has worked with me on every one of these courses today to provide the perfect place setting for these meals. The tablecloth came from I Do Linens in Atlanta. They have every imaginable color, fabric, design. It's just incredible. So this bright green worked really well with the charger plate or service plate that I got from Replacements Limited, and I actually love the center of it as well. But this leaf plate that comes, as you can see, in 4 different colors really makes it beautiful. If you want to do an assortment of plate colors, don't give everybody the exact same one. The flatware is incredible, looks really good, and I love the glassware as well with the little bees on it. It's perfect. Flowers on Broad did the flowers, and so everything just came together perfectly. All right, now we're on the main course, and the star of the show on this dinner plate is our macaroni and cheese. And what pairs better with that than a big old pork chop with a bone in and green beans, Southern style. The macaroni and cheese is so creamy, and if you do happen to have any left over, if you'll heat it up with a little bit of chicken broth and just stir it together just to keep that moisture going. But the crispiness stays there in the panko breadcrumbs. So I love the way that this turned out. So now here we go again with Replacements Limited. I just can't do it without them. I mean, I'm almost to the point where I've said before that I'm gonna choose my vessel for a buffet and then determine what food I need to put in the vessel. And I'm getting to the point where I'm doing that with Replacements Limited. Does this look like this plate was made for these 3 dishes? Absolutely. I just love it. So the feathers, the fall looks, the vine, everything about it. And this charger, just look at that. And you could use this with a variety of pieces that are already in your cabinet. So one of the things that I love to suggest with Replacements Limited, you could dress up your Thanksgiving or Christmas table by just adding a charger plate. It just pops the table. You're gonna get that dinner plate and come, but you've already been able to set the table, and it looks beautiful before the dinner plate ever gets there. This silverware with the braided pattern is so good looking, as is the amber glass. And again, flowers on Broad. I don't know where they get all their plant material from, but it is amazing, and the container. All right, so if you've got a sweet tooth, you're in the right place. And the last course is the wow factor with dessert. So the spicy oatmeal raisin bars, it just turned out so lovely. And the raspberry, could be caramel, it could be anything, but just do the wow factor with dessert. People love it. I've got the Pearson Farm pecans sprinkled on the top, so it really does make a beautiful presentation. And I love the table setting on this one. As I said earlier, I do linens in Atlanta, did all of our linens today. This gingham buffalo check is so good looking with the bamboo flatware, the charger plate here, the woodland look of the little deer in the plate that I've got the bar on is so attractive. And you know, from time to time I'll go into places like, you know, maybe a florist in a resort town that has some little things that you can pick up that are fake that you can use. And so these are Galax leaves, but they're metal. And so I just wrapped them around the top of the plate. I only had enough to do 3 place settings, but what does it matter? Because I had some beautiful Spanish moss, so I could have done that as well. The flowers again just worked so well with a completely different look here. So what I would love for you to do is go to Replacements Limited and look at all the different settings, all the different patterns and the manufacturers of each of these things, and place an order for the holidays. Just make yourself something special to look forward to. And as I always say on the Very Vera Show, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. Come back and join me again next week.